I'm pretty sure there are laws against this. Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video is going to be my review of the latest episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's Episode 7, The Transfer Student is a Grade Schooler. And I gotta be honest with you guys, this episode literally had me going what the hell several times throughout the episode. This is really a WTF episode, and even though it was enjoyable, there were just times where I'm like, what the... Yeah, insert expletive there. And I think my opinion was mostly the same as other people in the community, because this was the first episode that I was able to watch live as it was being streamed from Japan, because normally I work thirds Friday night, but I had last Friday off when this episode aired, so I was able to catch it via the stream from Japan, and I was actually watching it on Dylan at Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything's live stream, and basically everybody had the same reaction I did, like, what the hell? But yeah, this episode was really an out there episode, but it was enjoyable nonetheless. I did enjoy the duel here. Yuga really made Revolver proud, and we'll talk about that soon enough as well. But yeah, this episode, despite it being a what the hell episode, it was pretty enjoyable in my opinion. But we'll talk about all this soon enough. So, at risk of further rambling, let's move on to the actual review. So, I want to talk about the episode. So, the episode premise is Goha wanting more information on rush duels via Yuga. They've learned that Yuga is the one that's responsible for rush dueling. They want to know more info, and basically to get the info they want, they're going to send in a spy, and that spy is Mimi Itachi, and she's actually a high up person in the Goha Corporation here, and they let her loose on Yuga as a spy, and she's a 33-year-old lolly. That's the best way I can describe it. And we were watching this episode on the stream, and everybody's like, wait a minute, she's 33 years old and she's posing as a elementary school student? I'm pretty sure that's illegal. And if that wasn't illegal, something else certainly was, because it is evidently apparent that Mimi has developed some feelings for Yuga here, which is kind of another reason why it was a what the hell moment here. But anyway, Mimi introduces herself to the class here, and she mentions that she's interested in rush dueling, which immediately perks Yuga's interest here, and Yuga makes it a point to introduce himself here. And Mimi, of course, immediately sets off the suspicions of Roman, Rook, and yeah, it's basically Gakuto, Roman, and Rook are like, what are you doing, Yuga? Something's not right here. But Yuga, of course, being the happy-go-lucky person he is, he's willing to show Mimi the rush dueling and show her his roads, his inventions, so to speak here. And so, yeah, Yuga basically invites Mimi back to his workshop here and shows her his roads, and basically is like, and over here's where I keep the information on rush dueling, the rules and all that. And Mimi, of course, is immediately interested by this, and to basically get the other suspicions away from her, she actually gives Rook, or not so much Rook, but Gakuto and Roman get gifts in particular here, and these two gifts. And the only reason why I mention these two gifts in particular is because these two made me feel old. And if Yu-Gi-Oh! Can make me feel old, it's doing something, because we see these gifts. Gakuto ends up getting like a VCR kind of thing. Who uses a VCR anymore? I didn't even know people still use those things. And Roman got a Walkman. Now, I will say this. Walkmans are making a comeback, and I actually do see them quite a bit here. But again, it's one of those other things where it's like, really? A Walkman? Like, if this episode doesn't make you feel old as the original generation Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan that I am, if you're an original Yu-Gi-Oh! Gen fan and you don't feel old watching this episode, something's wrong in my opinion. But anyway, these dated gifts aside, this ultimately does appear to work as Gakuto and Roman kind of basically drop their guard a little bit. They thank Mimi for the gifts, and Mimi ends up busting back into Yuga's lab, but not after she has a drink at the bar here, again emphasizing that she is indeed 33 years old. So 33-year-old lolly having a thing for an elementary school student, Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are laws against that here. But anyway, Mimi breaks back into Yuga's lab, his workshop, in this costume here, and she's busted. Basically, Gakuto, Roman, and Yuga all knew that she was going to come back, and they got her. They busted her, and basically Roman just says that she wanted to learn about the rush dueling, and so Yuga basically kind of takes sympathy and pity on Mimi here, and he basically says to Mimi, well, okay then, how about we have a rush duel? You win, I'll give you the rush duel info. And immediately Roman and Gakuto are like, what are you doing? Are you out of your mind, Yuga? But Yuga, again, just based off of his personality, he's bound determined that he's going to go through with this duel. And I think Yuga would have given Mimi the information regardless, just because he's interested in spreading rush duels, and I don't think he's so much worried about the Goha Corporation like the others are. That could just be my own opinion, but I really do think that Yuga would have given her the information either way. But nonetheless, we're going to see a rush duel here, and so Yuga and Mimi's rush duel here. We learn that Mimi is using a club-style deck. Again, emphasizing that this girl is not a elementary school girl. She is, in fact, an adult, a lolly adult nonetheless here. And again, emphasizing the what the hell moments in this episode. And Yuga ends up pulling out an impressive strategy here. He uses, and everybody made the joke on this stream that Revolver would be proud. He uses this new card. Basically, everybody's like, oh, it's Mirror Force 2.0. Revolver would be proud. Revolver definitely approves this message nonetheless, though. But anyway, so Yuga uses this card and his Lumio Shaman, and ultimately Yuga is able to win the duel against Mimi here. And even though Yuga won the duel, he still gives Mimi the envelope here, or the folder that had the rush duel stuff in it, supposedly. Now, I say supposedly because people have argued with me in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Forums whether that actually happened or not, where he gave her the rush duel stuff, and it's mostly because of the next scene here, because we go back to the Goha Corporation, and the Goha Corporation are opening what appears to be the folder that Mimi got from Yuga. Well, it turns out it was just basically drawings and sketches of Yuga's roads. That's essentially it. There was no rush duel information here. And again, I emphasize this because people were fighting with me in the forum on this. I think that Yuga legitimately gave Mimi the information, but Mimi eventually, after hanging around with Yuga and getting a sense of his personality, and apparently by the looks of the episode, may have developed a little bit of a crush on Yuga here, as wrong as that sounds. I think that she purposely withheld the rush duel information from the Goha Corporation. That's just my own opinion because it's not really emphasized in this episode that that's what she did, but I think it's pretty obvious here. I know people have argued with me nonetheless, but again, the bogus information going to Goha Corporation is nonetheless where this episode leaves off. So, yeah, like I said, this episode was really a what the hell episode. I think I said that at least 7 times throughout the stream, and again, watching it over again, it must have been at least 7 times where I was saying that to myself, like, what the... But again, I emphasize that just because of this episode was just a different episode. There's no other way to describe it here. I mean, a 33-year-old lolly infiltrating an elementary school, that should be bad enough. But the fact that they apparently made this 33-year-old develop something for Yuga in terms of feelings is just, ugh. But, I mean, I guess that's anime for you. But anyway, all that aside, it doesn't take away from the fact that this episode was really great in my opinion. It was a good development episode for Yuga here. A Goha spy was revealed, and the Goha spy apparently, and again, this is just how I interpreted the episode, appears to have turned into a turncoat. But again, we'll have to wait and see on that. Overall, though, I give this episode a 9 out of 10. This was a good episode. It was a good development episode for Yuga. I loved the rush duel here. I loved that Yuga kind of broke the mold, that he was getting a little bit repetitive in the rush duel format. People will still say he's a little bit repetitive, but I think this duel kind of broke the cycle a little bit with a bit of unpredictability here with some new cards. And yeah, I think this episode was just a good development episode for Yuga nonetheless. But again, everybody, that's just my opinion. But as always, in the comment section down below, let me know what your guys' thoughts were about this week's episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just there? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Mimi? What were just your thoughts on the episode overall? What were your thoughts on Yuga? Do you think Mimi deliberately withheld the information from Goha in respect for what she now feels towards Yuga? Just let me know what your guys' thoughts are about all this in the comment section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. All right, everyone, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.